Mics are on.
It's time.
All right. It's 9 o'clock. I call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. We have public hearing this morning, 2023 Maintenance and Operation Millage Rate. Paul Salvatore.
I'll start with the protocol. When the public hearing is opened, members of the council will become hearers. No action on their part is in order until the mayor declares the hearing complete. First, city staff will present the item. The mayor will then allow a total of 10 minutes for members of the public to comment. No individual member of the public will be given more than 5 minutes to speak. Time limits may only be extended by a majority vote of council. Prior to closing the public hearing, city staff and the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions. When the mayor is assured that the input is complete, the public hearing shall be ended, and council may then debate the issue and render a decision. All speakers from the public are asked to follow these rules. 1, please wait to be recognized by the mayor. 2, come to the microphone and state your name and neighborhood prior to making remarks. 3, keep individual remarks under 5 minutes and do not repeat others' comments. And 4, address all comments to the mayor. Thank you. I will also remind you that the millage requires 3 hearings, so there will be no decision rendered at this time.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, she just covered one of the things I was going to say, that this is a first of 3 public hearings. We do have 2 more we'll talk about at the end of the presentation, the timing of those, but we just have a brief presentation, provide some information on the millage rate. So first I'd like to explain that the millage rate is broken up into 2 components, the maintenance and operation millage rate, is what we're focused on, and the bond millage rate, which the 2 together make up the, we refer to the total millage rate. So the proposal for this year and what our budget was based on for FY24 was to keep the millage rate the same at 6.043 mils for the maintenance and operation piece. The bond millage rate is 0. It has been for the last few years. We've paid off all our GO bond debt, and there are no referendums coming up in the near future in that regard. So that could remain 0 indefinitely. Here's a history of, say, 11-year millage rate. It's really, since millage rate hit a peak during the recession. We show how over this time period we've reduced the millage rate by a total of 1.135 mils. Again, we're proposing for next year to keep it the same as the last 2 years at 6.043 mils. Just to quantify, what does that translate to? So if we had still kept the millage rate at 7.178 mils for next year, that translates to about 4.1 million less taxes levied by the city annually if we hadn't been doing these reductions over the years. So currently that savings to an average homeowner of that 1.135 millage reduction that we've done over the years is saving the average homeowner about $230 a year. This chart shows kind of a big picture county-wide of all the jurisdictions of the total millage rate. Includes not only what's levied by the city, but by the county and the schools. As you can see, out of all the jurisdictions within the county, Peachtree City is falling kind of right in the middle. We're not the highest, we're not the lowest, right smack in the middle. We'll notice that some of the other cities, we're a full service city, so we have police, fire, EMS, where some of the other cities like Tyrone, Brooks, you know, they have to use county either fire or fire and EMS, which is the orange and the white. So when you compare apples to apples and combine all millage rates paid for all jurisdictions, you know, we're actually right in the middle, like I said, a little lower than Fayetteville and Tyrone, so you'd be paying more if your home was located in those areas. So, you know, what is the impact of the reassessments? So, first of all, you only see an increase in your tax bill if your particular property was reassessed and increased. Not likely it decreased, but overall across the board, the digest increased by 12.5%. Only 0.5% of that was for new added growth. So the average for reassessment increases, it was 12%, 12.09 to be exact. So what does that translate to, the financial impact on citizens and on the city? So I have this chart here. It shows, I know there was a question earlier, well, the impact on city tax revenue. Here's what we're proposing, you know, at the 6.043 mils, the current rate, and, you know, the city tax revenue that be raised. The full rollback rate is over 0.65 mils, and it would create a reduction of revenue to the city of about 2.4 million a year. And that would be ongoing every year on out if we did the full rollback rate. And like again, I said the FY24 budget that was just adopted was based on not doing this rollback. In other words, that's the amount you'd have to cut not only in next year but all future years to go with the rollback rate. The other numbers here I just showed for each $100,000 of property value, you know, what the impact is. So let's say for each $100,000, it would cost you about $2 a month or about $26 a year, and then on down, you know, 100,000, 200, 300, you know, what the annual, even for 500,000, it would be, you know, about 10, 11 bucks a year. Like I said, there are 2 more hearings. They're both on the day of the next council meeting on August 17th at 1 in the morning like this one, and again at 6:30 at the council meeting. And then we'll be able to take action to adopt the millage rate after the 3rd public hearing at the council meeting on August 17th, 6:30 meeting. And that's all staff has as a presentation. I can open it up for public comment.
Thank you. With that, I'll open the public hearing. Can I get a show of hands of those who wish to speak this morning? All right, please take the microphone.
Suzanne Brown. I live in Crescent Oak. Our police, fire, and EMS, we were all told that giving the big pay raise last year, or this year, was not going to affect our taxes. But every little increase in every little expense affects our taxes. So it's really hard to look at you not rolling back the millage rate, even just a slight amount, to kind of offset what people are going through is a little bit tone deaf on your part. Some of our citizens may be stretched to the breaking point. Many are 2-income households already stretched to their limit, putting things on credit card debt. We have dangerous levels of people living paycheck to paycheck. Even here in Peachtree City, there's a very high level of credit card debt that keeps going up each month. The millage rate increases and the taxes are up. The mortgages then go up, rents go up, and that affects every citizen in our city. Doesn't matter whether you rent or own, everything is going to go up. And I understand our city expenses also go up. My household budget expenses go up, but I can't raise your taxes being paid to me. Instead, you reach your pocket into your hand into my pocket and take my money. I'd like to also remind you that annexation for residential development will cost us more over the long run than tax revenue that would be generated from residential annexations. We need industrial growth. If you want to show compassion and empathy for the financial burden of all of the citizens inside the city, then I think you must roll back the millage rate, even if it's just a slight amount, to show that you hear what people are feeling. You must tighten the belt in every department, set up a task force if necessary, look at what can be cut. It's not easy to balance a household budget, and it won't be easy to balance a city budget. But reaching your hand again into every citizen's pocket is not necessarily acceptable. My assessed value of my house went up 20% 2 years ago and 7% last year, and now you're saying it's going up 12% this year. I live on a fixed income. I'm a retired person. I'm not alone. And I think that to just simply keep leaving the millage rate alone is a tax increase. I think you need to hear what's going on in the citizens' households and be compassionate about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Hearing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council, discussion or questions?
Excuse me, are we on?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I'm very sympathetic towards the people that are on fixed income. I think we're all on fixed income, probably up here, maybe not Phil, you're still working.
Every day. Except Friday.
Sort of.
Except Friday. The thing that concerns me is what I've been harping on for a long time, and that's the amount of maintenance that we have in the city. You know, every time I turn around, I see another building that's got problems. And if we don't address those problems, things just gonna get worse and worse and worse. I know that there's a lot of roads in Peachtree City that still need repair. There's a lot of cart paths that still need to be repaired. And I don't know how we're gonna get to that if we don't at least try to hold the line and try to keep our taxes as steady as they can. I don't think we're raising taxes by raising the millage rate, but it ultimately raises the taxes on the citizens. But the citizens also want a lot of things. They want pickleball courts, they want tennis courts, they want the swimming pool bubble put on, they want a lot of amenities that make Peachtree City nice. And that's a hard balance that you have to put together in that budget, Mr. City Manager. So, I mean, I really feel on both sides. I want the city to look good, but I want the citizens to be able to get something for, you know, don't be raising taxes on them all. So I'm really torn, but I would like to see us try to balance it as best we can. So I'm willing to go along with what we have in the budget right now.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a few comments. I know that Peachtree City is fiscally sound. I looked through that budget this year. I see what's going on. I've studied it. Do I like it? Not necessarily. But unfortunately, it's the reality of what the times that we live in, with a 13% inflation rate, with the cost of everything going up, whether it's gasoline, or whether it's our home cost, our electricity, our food. It's all going up, and you know, we're feeling that pinch ourselves. And I know that I'm on a fixed income myself, so I can feel that pinch in what happens at my home. But at the same time, we have to take care of, as Councilman DiStadio said, we need to take care of the amenities and the services that we have here in Peachtree City, and they do cost something. And I think that one of the things that I wholeheartedly agree with Councilman DiStadio is that if we don't maintain them, they're going to just cost more and more and more in the future. Maybe in the future, when we get to do SPLOST again, we ought to make sure we look at putting in some additional maintenance ideas in the SPLOST and not necessarily be all capital related. Other than that, I happen to agree that you know, we put together a stellar budget this year, in my opinion, and I think we ought to move forward with that, and I think we ought to move forward with It's hard for me to say, but I think we should move forward with the existing millage rate.
Thank you. And any other comments?
Yeah, so what we're faced with as a city is the lack of budgeting for those maintenance items. You can go back 10, 15 years on it, and so we're trying to play catch up.
Yep.
And as everybody knows, the longer you put off maintenance, the more it costs on down the road. And so that's what we're faced with. And of course, I'll be leaving at the end of the year, but I would like to see a continued focus on getting our facilities up to really what the property values, and, you know, we pay more to live here, right? And so, it should be reflective, our facilities should be reflective of what Peachtree City homeowners expect and want with their homes and their facilities. And as far as the police and fire goes, Paul, could you put that slide back up of how much it costs to live here? I know mine's like $100 a month. I would pay, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I would pay $100 a month just for the fire and police.
I don't have, well, okay.
There.
Right there. So if you have I don't know what the value of property, say $500,000.
You're at $100 a month,
Yep.
right? $100 a month to live in Peachtree City is a bargain. I mean, that's on a $500,000 house. So, 400,000, what's that, 966? So anyways, that's just how I feel. I don't want to see the police cut. I don't want to see the fire department cut, and I want us to get our facilities up to speed. Thank you.
If
Thank
I
you.
could, Mayor, first off, over the last 10 years that I've sat here, is that we have to go back and remember that between the years 2009 and 2013, this country was in a recession. And a lot of things did not get done. And because of that, the city was in a lot of disrepair. The 2017 SPLOST has done a lot to bring that back. We put some things in to get it done. And I, for one, don't want to see this go back to where it is. We have maintained. I mean, we have yet to catch up. And the SPLOST, both from 17 and now 23, is going to help that immensely. But the mere fact is that when you go from a .711 or 188 or whatever down to 6083 and provide quality police, quality fire, all the services we do with uncompromised excellence and it's our standard, you know, we've done quite well balancing this budget, especially in the light with the police and fire department that neither Fayetteville have a complete fire department or the city of Tyrone, which does not. And our millage rate is less than theirs, you know, for the same size house. What we have done is create a city where young people want to bring their families to live. I've experienced that over the last 36 years that I've lived here, and I think that those of you that have lived here, you know, 5, 10 years or whatever or less are starting to see that. We want, as citizens, the best that we can possibly ask for and get in this city, and we've done that, and we're going to continue to do it. And like Phil, I agree with you, sir. It's a bargain to live in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no further comments. Last thought? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yep, seconded.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We stand adjourned.